here in West Miami in 1998, and this is the room, not just where they count the votes, but where they announce the results. So it has a very special meaning to us every time we come back, and I'm grateful to be here. I'm also grateful to be here with so many people that have been so instrumental in our lives as we've served in public office. I see people here like, for example, Luis Montaño, que fue el ortodoxo del año, y a Modesto Pérez, que cuando nadie creía en nosotros en Hialeah was helping us in 2000, and they're very good with the because he still has the signs. He still has the signs from our original race. I think about the he's not a heckler, guys. He's very happy. A positive heckler. But, a great guy. We have great memories of how we worked with him. And then, of course, you know, I remember when I ran here in West Miami for the first time, before I even started, one of the people that told me, you should think about West Miami, go see Rebecca Sosa, actually help make that connection to someone named Liliana Ross, who's our state committee woman. I see Nelson Diaz, who was the party chairman. I know Nelson since he was 17, and he was on the Dope campaign. And Carlos Lopez Cantera was a part of the same effort. And others, like David Flores, who may not be able to come today, and then so many friends we have. And if I miss somebody, I apologize, but I thank you for being here today. One of the words that's been used often is sacrifice. Sacrifice, and I appreciate what you guys are saying. Sacrifice is leaving your family for 6 months to fight in Afghanistan or Iraq. That's a sacrifice. Yeah. Sacrifice for the men and women that put on the brown or the blue and get in their patrol car, and they don't know that last call they did on that radio will be their last call. Running and serving in the Senate is an honor. It's an honor to be one of two people in the entire state, in the third largest state in the country, in the most important country in the world, to have a voice on the issues our country faces. And the issues we face are real. Terrorism is running rampant all over the world. Every other day you open up the newspaper or turn on the news, and jihadists, Islamic radicals have conducted just another attack somewhere else. A lot of times in Europe, but every now and then right here. And not just right here in America, right here in Florida. We saw that in Orlando not long ago. Those are the threats that we face. And for 8 years we have had a White House and a Democrat party that has taken this for granted. They released prisoners out of Guantanamo. They released a prisoner not long ago who was living for a year in South America. We lost track of him. He's on his way back to Syria, and it isn't to build a car wash. It's to join radical jihad against Americans. It's against Americans. When ISIS emerged and crossed the border from Iraq and from Syria and into Iraq, and I warned, I was one of the first people that said, these guys are going to grow and become dangerous. The president said they're the JV team. Yes. When there's people trying to come into America, we don't discriminate here, but we have to know who you are and why you're coming. The president said, oh, it doesn't matter. We let everyone in. Despite the fact that we know that there are terrorists trying to get people to come into the U.S. And I don't know if the vast majority of people are not, but if just one of them is, we have a problem. They don't take this threat seriously enough. They give speeches, they talk a lot about it, they seem to get angry after it happens, but they have taken it for far too long, too lightly. And now we pay the price. Now we pay the price. Here in our own hemisphere, they've ignored the major issues going on in our hemisphere. You have basically the cancellation of democracy and an all-out tyranny emerges in Venezuela. And if it wasn't for me, and in all credit being due in the Senate, Bob Menendez, the Democrat, no one would even talk about it. We can't even get the White House to say the word Venezuela. Not to mention to say the word Cuba. Just deal with Cuba, he brags about. Migration is up, and oppression is up. Everything's gotten worse, not better. They have more money to oppress people, to enrich themselves, so Alejandro Castro can spend vacation on his yacht. Meanwhile, the Cuban people are no more free and no more prosperous than they were 2 years ago. On issue after issue, we're heading in the wrong direction. And if we lose the White House and the Senate, that would be catastrophic. Because then nothing stands in the way of this misguided agenda. And then we will become the first Americans that leave our children worse off than ourselves. Here's the good news. There is an alternative available to us. We have the chance, if we do what needs to be done, to leave our children as the freest and the most prosperous Americans that have ever lived. But it will require us to get things done right now. And it begins by winning the Senate seat, and not just the Senate seat. We have congressional seats that are critically important. Carlos Curbelo is one of the prime targets for the Democrats. We can't lose that seat. We can't lose that seat. If we lose that seat, he will be replaced by someone that will be a rubber stamp for all of the radical agenda that comes out of the left. That's why we have to win, not to mention he's an incredible congressman. You have people here running for election at the State House and State Senate. The decisions they make in Tallahassee impact you right away at home. And over the last 20 years, think about the progress this state has made because it's had the right people in the majority in the House and Senate. Don't take that for granted. Miami-Dade is key to that in the Senate races and the House races. There are people running for re-election that need your help. Don't skip those votes on your ballot. They matter. They're important. As far as the Senate is concerned, it's always important. Number one, the Senate in our Constitution is the check and balance. It stops bad things from happening. And we have to ensure that bad things don't continue to happen. But it's also the place that's going to appoint, it's going to confirm not just the next Supreme Court justice, but the 2 more that probably come after that. 3 people that could serve a quarter century on the U.S. Supreme Court. That means the very meaning of our Constitution is at stake. And it depends on who has the balance in the Senate, who controls the Senate. Will it be Chuck Schumer, a radical left-wing politician? Or will it be someone that respects the Constitution and ensures that the judges appointed to the Supreme Court are people that will interpret the Constitution as it was originally written, not making it mean whatever they want? Because if you lose the Constitution, you know what it looks like when you lose the Constitution, when it's ignored, when it's violated? It looks like Venezuela in 2016. That's what happens when you do it. Clearly, we're not that bad right now, but we can never allow that to happen, and we can never take that for granted. And that's why I chose to run for re-election. Because from the day I got into office here in West Miami, we met once or twice a month. I always tell people it's like being on a condominium board, but without the power of a condominium board. It was one of the most rewarding experiences of our life. The current commissioners can tell you that. Every day you make decisions that have an immediate impact on your neighbors, on your family, on yourself. I did it to make a difference. That's why I ran, and that's why I ran again. We had other ideas and we had other plans, but we realized we had a chance to make a difference. And that's why we chose to continue in this endeavor, and I'm proud to do it, and I need your help, and I need your vote. Y en español le quiero decir, ya reconocí a varias personas que están aquí, que le doy las gracias por los años de apoyo que nos han dado. Esta es una elección sumamente importante. Ustedes han visto lo que está pasando en el mundo con el terrorismo. Y el presidente no quiere reconocer de dónde viene ese terrorismo, de radicales islámicos que han utilizado su interpretación de su religión, no solamente para justificar, sino para abogar a favor de estas matanzas que estamos viendo en todas partes del mundo, incluyendo aquí en la Florida. Y tenemos una Casa Blanca y un Partido Demócrata que realmente no le ha dado la seriedad necesaria, la atención necesaria a esta amenaza tan poderosa. Vemos los problemas en nuestro propio hemisferio, en Venezuela, donde han cancelado la democracia, la orden constitucional violada constantemente. Una Casa Blanca y un Partido Demócrata que fuera de 1 o 2 congresistas, básicamente ni quieren hablar del tema. Que apoyan una apertura a Cuba. Todos deseamos lo mejor para el pueblo cubano. Pero esta apertura no está beneficiando al pueblo cubano. Si lo estuviera beneficiando, lo estuvieran abandonando la isla en números históricos. Mientras que la violación de derechos humanos sigue creciendo, incrementando a través de este cambio que han hecho. La economía estancada. Y los jóvenes se gradúan de la escuela, no pueden encontrar trabajo. Y lo que encuentran no pagan lo suficiente para pagar los préstamos que tuvieron que pedir para estudiar. Todo ha empeorado y ahora están pidiendo 4 años más de lo mismo. Yo decidí aspirar al Senado porque si no ganamos en la Florida, perdemos la mayoría en el Senado. Perdemos la mayoría en el Senado. Y esto pone en peligro la Corte Suprema, donde ya hay una oposición vacante y posiblemente 2 más. Y es el Senado que tiene que confirmar al que el presidente nombre. Y esas personas están ahí 25 o 30 años. El futuro de la Constitución está en peligro si no tenemos una Corte Suprema que la respete como hay que respetarla. Para mí siempre es un honor y un orgullo regresar aquí a West Miami, a este salón donde ocurrió la votación y contaron los votos y anunciaron los votos cuando yo aspiré por primera vez en el 98 como comisionado de esta pequeña ciudad. y donde vivo solamente a varias cuadras todavía. Me recuerda la razón por la cual yo aspiré de un principio, para poder contribuir a hacer una diferencia. Yo sigo creyendo y pensando que con todos los problemas que existen en la política, y hay muchos, sigue siendo una manera legítima de servir a su país, a su comunidad y a su vecino. Y es por eso que yo aspiro de nuevo, para seguir contribuyendo a hacer una diferencia. Y me hace falta su apoyo y su ayuda. Una contienda en un año como este siempre es difícil, pero salimos a votar. Si salimos a votar, yo trabajaré por ustedes. Si ustedes trabajan por mí, ganaremos en noviembre y seguiremos sirviendo en Washington para asegurarnos que este país sigue siendo el más grande y el más poderoso en la historia de todo el mundo y de toda la humanidad. Muchísimas gracias. Que Dios los bendiga a todos.